peace and silence. I got the heart. I'm a warrior monkey, no, I'ma hit this road with full life.
Y'all know we have to start with the 0 through first dimension, okay? I do have a little paper here to help you guys kind of understand it a little bit better. Come on, focus on here. There we go. All right, perfect. So here at the bottom, we have the 0 dimension. Now, technically, let's just say that this doesn't even have a picture, okay? I just put a circle here just so we can have something to see, but let's act like that doesn't even exist, all right? So now we have the first dimension, which is a line, or some people might even say that that's a point, but that's okay as well. Now, the second dimension, you know you have length times width, which gives us a 2D shape. Third dimension, we get a 3D shape. Fourth dimension, now we're getting into more of the higher dimensions, okay? So now we're going more deeper into space-time, okay? So just imagine this as a timeline, all right? So, or a freaking movie. However way you want to, like, see it, that's the way it is, okay? It's time, all right? Simple, right? Now, the fifth dimension, if you ever watch any type of Marvel movies or anything like that, or Star Trek, and you know how they have, like, the multiverse and, like, going to different universes and all that kind of stuff, that would be similar to the fifth dimension. But not exactly going to a different universe, but instead just going to a different timeline within your own universe, okay? So it's not exactly here in the fourth dimension, but it's like a merge of both, okay? And you'll realize that with a lot of dimensions, like how with the first dimension merges into the second dimension merges into the third, well, the fourth dimension merges into the fifth, okay? So you're getting like different probable outcomes within the same timeline, all right? Now, when you come to the sixth dimension, that's when you actually get into different universes. So this will literally be going from, this is a good example, going from a Marvel movie to like a Harry Potter movie, okay? Those are two completely different universes, okay? Now, you have, let's just throw that away. All right, so now, we have the seventh dimension, okay? See, I done explained this so many times, I'm making it easy, all right? So we have the seventh dimension here, right? Now, this would be a dimension of, let's just say, of logic, okay? So this is where all the universes were created. Well, any type of universe can be created, okay? Because this is the whole point of like logic and information within itself. So for an example, you don't like, you're not seeing things at this point. This is a dimension of like, you see how we have gravity and stuff like that. It all comes from, like, the concept of that comes from this dimension. Now that's probably gonna be hard to understand, but that's fine, all right? Going to the eighth dimension. The eighth dimension, if you ever got into any type of religions or spirituality, this is your soul, okay? Now, actually, I do want to go a little bit deeper into this, okay? Now, technically, everybody does share the same soul, all right? But it's only your perspective of how you view it that makes you kind of see it as we have different souls, but it's the same thing, all right? To make it easier, though, if you want to, like, see it in, like, the physical realm, that would be like your plasma, right? Like, we all have the same plasma within our veins, but because it's in different bodies, we seem like the plasma is disconnected, but it's the same entity. You understand what I mean? Or better yet, water. Water is a good example too. But let's just go to the ninth dimension, okay? Ninth dimension. This is one of my favorite dimensions because this is the dimension that once you kind of activate this within yourself, like, you can do some really cool stuff, okay? But the ninth dimension, that's basically just awareness within itself, so your perception of everything, okay? So this is if you were going to any type of realities, any type of everything, dreams, gods, whatever you believe in, everything, any and everything falls under the ninth dimension. And the reason for that is because when you get to the 10th dimension, that's no thing, okay? So that's similar to the zero dimension, but it's kind of like a it's kind of like a merge of the 0th dimension or the first dimension and the 9th dimension. But the 10th dimension is basically non-existent. So it's like if you were to, let's say if you were to, for some reason, fly like an unlimited amount of times outer space beyond, right? You will start to get into a 10th dimensional frequency where you understand that the universe is endless. It's not even a real thing. But let's not even get crazy deep into that because I still want to keep on going first, okay? So boom. Now we have the 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th dimension, okay? Now, these things could seem so difficult if you don't know what it is, but you guys, I promise you, it's simple as hell, all right? So if you ever had a VR game or if you ever talked with somebody else, having a different awareness or somebody with their own consciousness creates a 20-dimensional effect for both observers. So for an example, right? Here, I had this here. So in the 10th dimension, so do you remember how I told you guys that the 10th dimension was kind of like 0 again? Well, you'll kind of see, because that's how numbers work too. Once you get to the 11th dimension, now you have the 10th dimension plus a line. The 12th dimension, you have the 10th dimension plus a two-dimensional shape. 13th dimension, you have the 10th dimension plus the third dimensional shape, okay? And then so on, so on, so on. It will repeat itself all up until they merge back again at the 20th dimension, okay? Now, the way that this will look in the physical realm was, imagine as if you were playing a VR game, right? And then for some reason, like, that person in the game was like extremely knowledgeable, meaning he had his own awareness, like he knew exactly what was going on. That would create a 20-dimensional effect. Or let's say, like for an example, you were talking with somebody else, like, or if you, who's ever watching this video, because I know if you're watching this video, you're at a certain level of intelligence already. So if you were talking to somebody like me, right, we would be creating a 20-dimensional effect because our consciousness is already high enough in this and like, well, our consciousness awareness, like the awareness that we have within our consciousness is already pretty high to where it will create a 20-dimensional effect. Now, here's the cool thing. Let's say if you were just watching a movie, right? That will create a 14-dimensional effect because you are a 10-dimensional being, but you're watching something through the fourth dimension, okay? It will create a 14-dimensional effect. I hope that you can understand that. But the crazy thing is as you go even deeper into the dimensions, it will repeat itself even more. So you'll go from the 20th dimension to the 30th dimension, and it'll create the same effect. Now, there's different ways to look at this too. There's different ways to get a 30-dimensional effect, okay? So for an example, if you were watching a movie within a movie, that would create a 30-dimensional effect. Or for an example, if you had 3 people and you're all looking from 3 different points of view, that creates a 30-dimensional effect, okay? And the crazy thing is as you can tell, what our whole universe is, this works in fractals, okay? Just like numbers. It will continue to repeat itself over and over again, all the way until you get to the 1 millionth dimension. It doesn't stop, okay? I just got tired of doing that. I just got tired of repeating myself, going from 30 to 40 to 50 to 100,000. I was like, I'm done, okay? It dimensionally fractals within itself. It never ends, okay? So good news and bad news is, if you hate life, it sucks because you can never technically leave it. But the good news is you can make it whatever you want, all right? Now, with that being said, what can you actually do with this information, right? There's a couple things that you can do. But the first thing is to just be a lot more grateful and knowing that there's a lot more out there, and what you have going on is not it. Like there's a lot more to everything, okay? That's the first thing. Now, the second thing is you can actually start to use these, like your knowledge of these dimensions, to actually start to manipulate your own actions. Now, that's where you start off from, because that's where I started off from, and then it gets deeper. So you go from manipulating your own actions and your own feelings and your own thoughts, and then actually by doing that already, you're going to be affecting your environment. But having higher understandings of the dimensions will allow you to start, let's just say, changing up other things, okay? But it's always going to be happening through you. And that's the cool thing, because a lot of times, like, people think they're using higher dimensions when, like, they go act through people. Like, how, for an example, if I go tell somebody to go do something, right? It's like that's using the third dimension. It's not the same, okay? Now, for an example, if you were to imagine that the person's already doing it and then they do it, that's using a higher dimension, okay? So whenever you're using your hands, any type of thing in the physical world, boom, you're automatically bringing yourself down to a lower dimension. But having these higher understandings of these higher dimensions, you can do certain things with your mind, because it's through your heart and your mind that you can access these higher dimensions, because they're not physical, okay? So where we're at right now, this is a physical reality. So a lot of things that we do, like anything that you do is physical, okay? But if you want to operate on these higher dimensions, you have to operate out of the physical, if that makes sense. So for an example, if you don't have much higher understanding of like your higher like dimensions, or if you're like not really tapped into the 7th dimension, or if you can't tap into it, because some people and most people don't stay in these higher dimensions. Now me, I technically do, but that's a whole nother story. But most people, though, come into these higher dimensions and go back down. Like how, for an example, innovators and people like Albert Einstein and stuff, like a lot of them tap into these higher dimensions, but they go back down. And that's not necessarily wrong, but it's just that when you go into these higher dimensions, you can operate at these levels. Now, let's say if you're somebody that's wanting to start a business, right? but you've never operated in a 7-dimensional frequency, meaning you can't create your own logic. You don't know how to create your own belief systems and everything. Your business will never work out because you'll be operating under somebody else's belief system. And then now when you're creating your own business, that's your own creation, meaning that you have to have your own energy behind it, or your own creations behind it. So for an example, if you're somebody who wants to have a business but can't tap into a 7-dimensional frequency, it would probably be best for you for like you to join a franchise, because that way you can operate off of somebody else's energy but still have the feeling of like being a business owner. But that's what I mean by being able to tap into these higher dimensions and how you can use that. Now, here's my little chart, okay? I made this up just to kind of help visualize this next thing that I'm about to say, all right? So just to break it down easy, I only broke it down into 3 levels, okay? Now, you can technically break this down into infinite levels because like how I told you, the whole universe within itself can keep on fracturing and going deeper, meaning like you can go from, you can say me, my body, my cells, my blood, like how you can keep on going deeper and deeper, but I'm making this simple by just only keeping the baseline, all right? So at the top of the pyramid, which would kind of represent the higher dimensions, right? You have your awareness. And now on this side, I have more of the, spiritual things. And on this side, I have more of the physical things, okay? So you can kind of get a deep understanding of how these dimensions work, all right? So in the higher dimensions, right? So at the very, very top, you have your awareness. And now how would your awareness be visualized as a physical thing? That's the omniverse. So not the universe, not the multiverse. That's the omniverse, meaning all, anything possible, everything, okay? All gods, all religions, everything, no religions, aliens, whatever. Anything that you want to make up, anything that any god can make up, any powerful or weak, anything falls under this, okay? There's nothing. Well, the crazy thing is even nothing falls under this too, but okay. Now, below there, so this will kind of be like going from the 7th dimension down, all right? So this is like 8th dimension up, 8th to 10th up, and then this is like 7th dimension down, okay? So from the 7th dimension down to about here, which will kind of be where the 3rd dimension starts, 4th and 3rd dimension, right? You have your memory, thoughts, emotion, your DNA, and your imagination, okay? Now, technically, DNA is supposed to be on this side, but I put it on this side because it's kind of, you should do your research into DNA. I'm not going to get into that now, but your memory, thoughts, emotions, and your imagination is going to really dictate how you operate in the 7th, 6th, and the 5th dimension, okay? That's very important. Now, how would that look in the physical realm? That would be your body, your brain, as I have here, your heart plus your blood, and also your knowledge, okay? So now, even deeper, we have actually the physical realm, like what we're seeing now, okay? And now on the spiritual side of the physical realm, you have action and manifestation, okay? Because everything plays out no matter what. Even you breathing is a manifestation and an action, okay? Now, how does that look? That's your environment and space within itself, okay? So that's like this pyramid, I broke it down. I broke everything down into something simple so you can understand it. It's very, very simple, okay? And now I broke it down into 3 levels, and that's all this represents, okay? And now I just drew some art here to kind of help bring out this stuff, but yeah, that's all that is. And it's kind of simple, but like once you really just listen to this more over and over again, and like you really digest what I'm saying, like this is some deep stuff, all right? Now, that's actually gonna be it. I do have some other things, but I'm gonna say those for some other videos here. I'm gonna just give y'all a little sneak peek, okay? I'm gonna be teaching y'all some cool stuff, bro. Just be ready, all right? All right, keep on making them canine gains and stay